So similarly, when there are inner wounds, we do feel weak. We lack that willpower to make about the changes that we want to. In general, you don't know how to stay stable, how to stay courageous when there are many wounds inside of us. And for some of us, these wounds might have existed for many, many years, decades, and centuries. And if there are a number of wounds within, then automatically we feel a lot more weaker and miserable. The healing is totally a choice. The method is very, very easy, but most important is for me to kind of come to that deep conclusion that I want to heal. I want to lead a more meaningful, more joyful life. When I make that kind of decision and I'm determined that I want that kind of life, nothing can stop me from healing. So, in this particular class, we go a bit deeper to understand what kind of wounds might exist within and what are our options to heal our own selves. What is the method? What are some steps that we can take forward? So, this will again be a 4 class series in the month of July. And same time, we will continue to offer this to kind of build upon this particular concept. As always, we'll first get started with Raj Yoga meditation. Request you all to join me in this guided meditation where I will be speaking certain thoughts out loud. And the request is for you to embrace those thoughts, accept them as your own truth, and see if you can keep your head or mind that is trying to be very analytical about the thoughts or very logical. This is the time to let those emotions emerge and for us to experience our own truth. So let's get started with the meditation. Relax your body by keeping the feet on the ground, head and back straight. This posture helps in concentration. Sensations in the body will always exist. Thoughts in the mind will always exist. I, the being, who's the master of the mind and the body, has the power to stay undisturbed by the noise of the body and the subtle noise of the thoughts in the mind. When I sit in my true religion of peace, then the mind and body start the healing process. When I return back to who I am, a peaceful soul, the mind stops creating disturbing thoughts. Why did they do this to me? How dare they did this to me? I don't deserve it. Why me? All of these heavy, disturbing thoughts stop getting created. Instead, the mind aligns with my truth. It accepts everything as is without any questions. Every scene of the drama is neither good nor bad. It is the way it is. It couldn't have been different than what it is. So why do I question? There is a higher intelligence, divine intelligence behind every scene of this drama. I maintain faith in the goodness of every moment and what it has to offer. I maintain faith that I have the power to tolerate, to accept, to forgive. So I can take every scene as is without any questions. And when I feel overwhelmed by a particular scene of the drama, and the mind starts creating a lot of questions, and I get blown away by the storm the mind has created, I can emerge the faith that I have in the Supreme, that He's there for me, that He's watching me. His support is guaranteed. Nothing can cause harm to me. I am ever safe, a spiritual being who's extremely fortunate, who's received every gift from life, from universe, from Supreme. I have nothing to lose and nothing to gain. This is just a world drama. I have always been fortunate, and I will continue to be the lucky shining star. Welcome everyone to Brahma Kumaris, Silicon Valley. In Heal Thyself, today in the first class, we will look into understanding the inner wounds a lot more deeply. So let's get started by first defining what is the healed state, right? What is the end goal that we want to achieve? So if you could please share your responses on the chat. What would a healed state of thyself look like? What would be the symptoms? What will be the peace? Yes, such a person would be very, very peaceful once you are healed. Calm soul, peaceful. Always at peace, no matter what. Yes, happy and positive. No negative thoughts, very balanced. Wonderful. Content and happy. Yes. And imagine how wonderful would it feel like that, right? When we are in that particular state. And pretty sure with all of us have been trying to make some or the other effort to stay healed. Um, and the whole point is how do we achieve that consistently forever? Will feel light. Yes. Accept my only child is with God. Okay. Very nice. Just adding to what all you've already said here, always giver without any expectations. Yes. So, healing in general is a process of restoration. It's really returning back to your healthy state. Damaged state is not our natural state. So, that particular belief that happiness and sorrow is part and parcel of life is not a true statement. At least for me, it doesn't feel right at all. With my own personal experience and the knowledge, what I have learned is the original and eternal state of every being is healed. And that healed is where I'm able to accept myself wholeheartedly. One is the actor, the other is the role. Each one of us is playing many, many roles. These roles are constantly changing throughout the day, but I have acceptance of that role. Whether it's been a great role, bad role, doesn't matter. I develop acceptance. Otherwise, that healing is not full. So, we will talk about all of this. Maintain pure love and regard for thyself, irrespective of others' behavior. Sometimes we lose respect for our own self, hope in our own self when we are not treated well by others, right? And this could be, it is justified. Maybe I made a blunder and that's why somebody was being a bit critical. Or maybe I didn't make any mistake and somebody is still being insulting, irrespective of others' behavior, whether it is good or bad. My respect for the self doesn't change. Now, this pure love and pure respect basically means it's not based on comparison. That kind of regard never lasts, right? Some days I'll find myself better, my role to be better. Other days I'll find somebody else's role to be better and keep wishing, I wish my role was like that. So that is not called respect, right? That's a form of disrespect for my own self and others. So this pure love and respect based on my spiritual understanding of who I am, the actor level, I'm able to accept myself and maintain that regard. And like all of you said, a sense of satisfaction, right? That contentment, irrespective of what is happening around me. Sometimes life shows us many beautiful gifts, and sometimes those gifts are wrapped up in really ugly wrappers. But the one who is very wise and healed will always find every moment to be a gift. They will not question and challenge life. So that is the state of healed. So in a way, you can think it's kind of reaching a state of so much of deep wisdom where you're able to understand a lot more, deeply than what is being shown at the surface level. At the surface level, people could be mad, things could be falling apart, my role could be going very, very dark, but I have developed such insight that I'm able to still say satisfied. Now, this satisfaction doesn't mean I'm not working towards, solutioning or improvement or some kind of a change or growth. It means I am okay with wherever I am and I want to keep progressing forward. And it is an unshakable faith in life, self, and supreme, someone who never gives up no matter what, and offers unconditional cooperation towards all. This is also very important. Many times in this, especially in developed nations, right, in the Western side of the world, people get so busy making money or so busy with a lot of other name, fame, title things that they don't have time for each other. You'll find like, kids saying, hey, I have no time. Father or some close relative could be in the hospital. I have no time to visit every day. So such a person cannot offer, the one who is unhealthy, sick with all the outer achievements and things like that, cannot offer that real sense of support and joy to others, care for others. But the one who is healed will always have a balanced life where they know where to draw the line, that this is just getting beyond anything. Yes, career is important. Yes, we need to achieve that name and whatever ambition, but not at the cost of not being there for people when they need us, right? So, this is something that we need to check. In the similar way, if you wanted to define how does a wounded state look like, exactly opposite, but good to call it out. Such a person cannot accept themselves. They are very, very critical, very dismissive about themselves. They'll always find flaws in themselves or in others. Something or the other for them is always falling apart. They always feel hopeless. They feel like a victim, very pessimistic, and they're constantly sad at themselves or mad at themselves or mad at others, and they have no time or energy to cooperate. So, this is the state of a wounded being. Now, obviously, we want to shift from this state of being unhealthy to the healthy state. And one might wonder that maybe, this person has had all good things in their life. And for this person on the left hand side is always something or the other going wrong. And that's why this person is always unhealed, wounded, versus this person is healed. It is not actually the case. I have at least met people who've had perfect, everything is going right for them. There's so many people that love them. They're financially, they're doing good. They have a reasonable name, fame, good health of the body, but yet they don't know how to remain healed, how to remain peaceful and happy, always disturbed and will disturb others too. There's also known people, for them, problems are one after the other coming in their life, but yet they have learned the art of problem solving, going beyond those problems and remaining healthy. So it's really not the external situation, right? For all of us, we have certain external situations. We always have external situations in our lives. So it's important to check whether these relations, name, fame, or natural weather around us, right? Whatever we have around us, am I the one who's giving power to everything? Or am I the one who's getting disturbed by their powers? Does everything disturb me? That is something that I need to check. This is the inside out life, that nothing of outside world can disturb me. I, in my pure, peaceful, joyful state, will actually influence everything, whether it is my relationships, the things that I possess, or Mother Nature around me. Whereas this person says everything is too strong, too powerful around me. I can't live a happy life because people are not good. Everything goes falling apart for me. Even Mother Nature is against me. So this is the contrast. And indeed, we want to stay in this healthy state. So for a wounded state, inner state completely depends on the external world. Whereas for a healed self, they remain unshakable during external crisis also. Now let's call out what are the benefits of being healed. What are some benefits you will start seeing when the self is healed? Yes, peace, contentment, right decisions, improve well-being. Won't think about it that much as before. Yes, very few thoughts at a higher vibration energy, and you exude that as well. Yes. Your peace and your joy will influence others to return back to their peaceful, joyful state, more energy in general. Yes, when there are no inner wounds, that means there is no sickness, there is no disease. Automatically, the being feels strong, powerful. We will be happy. Yes, very well said. Just adding holistically, if the being is healthy, then there is holistic healthiness, which basically means whether it is financially, relationship wise, mental, emotional, physical, every part of our existence has a healthy well being when the spiritual being, when it heals, when it learns the art of remaining content at every moment, then automatically the mental, the emotional, the physical, the financial, the relation, the social, every aspect, you will see a huge benefit. This has been my own practical experience, and you will feel that self sovereignty where you are able to control your own mind and body. Even during the sickness of the body, you learn the art to remain extremely joyful, not just joyful, extremely joyful. Indeed, it is a gradual transition. Old Meghna would cry about small issues with the body, but she's seen like exponentially that change in her, where even big issues with the body, she remains undisturbed. So that's called self sovereignty, right? Your mind is creating a total chaos, is literally attacking your own self esteem, but you remain undisturbed by it. So these kind of when you reach this kind of a state, it shows that you become self-sovereign, that you have unshakable respect for your own self. There is no blame game at all. Such a person will never blame anyone, including themselves. Otherwise, we tend to, very subtle ways, we tend to blame, right? We will all say, who's the creator of your own fortune? We'll all raise hand, I'm the creator of my own fortune. But anytime we face little bit of a challenge, little bit of a problem, some kind of a sorrow, we tend to blame it on others. So this blaming will completely finish. We always say one finger pointing at others, but four pointing towards you. So wherever there is blame game, there is no joy. There is only misery. Such a person is fearless, carefree. They have absolutely no fear of what will happen to them, what might happen to them tomorrow, today, nothing. They completely know. the reality of life and how beautiful it is, that every part of the drama is only there to bring joy. Even a challenge will bring joy. So they are absolutely carefree. They have harmony in relationships with all. Whether the other person is in harmony or not doesn't matter. They are in harmony with everyone. And soon it invites the one who are not in harmony with us to also become harmonious with us, right? So it all starts with us. When you start tuning in your frequency with others, others cannot stay far apart for long. Most important is all solution is within me. How do I keep using that key that exists within me? Such a person is always very easygoing because they're very light. They have no demands and expectations, like many of you said. Very easygoing. They can mold themselves, be very flexible, enjoy every day as is, every person as is. So automatically they remain in very high energy, very, very enthusiastic. So now we will start using the inner GPS to really guide us towards healing. First of all, we use the guidance to understand deeply where do these wounds exist, to understand completely the anatomy of the wound, right? Where is this wound located? Who created the wound? How did the wound get? What was the method? How did it get created inside of me, right? Who got in? How did that get created? Who is the one that is really hurting? And who can help? And how do I heal the wound? So, this guidance, we need answers to all of these questions in an accurate manner. Till we don't get that answers, we can't really begin the healing process. So, let's get started by understanding everything about the wound. So, first question is, which is the actual wound and where is it located? So suppose, I am feeling a bit sad because of something that occurred in a personal relationships at home. Could be with the sibling, for example. Something occurred, and I'm feeling sad. Now, in such a situation, what is the actual wound and where is it located? So, question for all of you. Generally, what's the actual wound and where is this wound located? Would appreciate your answers on the chat. Childhood trauma. Yes, that could be one of the wounds as well. But what is that wound? We need to understand. Karma, my heart. Okay, the wound exists in the heart. My emotions, my mind. Yes, the wound is the emotion and it's located in the mind. Lack of self confidence in your heart would be very heavy. Yes, mind, self esteem, intellect. So let's go a bit deeper to understand this. Right now, these wounds can come in many different forms. Like one of you said, child trauma could be somebody being insulting towards us. There could be many different situations. Maybe lack of self confidence. That could also be a situation. So we need to first of all understand what is that different kind of situations. Now, suppose I am someone who takes really good care of my health. I'm always very particular about eating healthy, exercising, going to regular doctor visits. Yet something or the other keeps bothering in the body. Now, what is the actual wound? Is it the body pain or me feeling sorry for my own self? Poor me. How much I try for this body. Look at others. They don't even take care of themselves. They're always eating junk food. They never fall sick. I keep falling sick. I am the unfortunate one. Important to identify what is the wound. Is it the body that is falling sick, or is it the commentary that I'm creating that is causing the sickness? Ego, yes. Conflict or resentment. It's possible there is a tiff, right, between maybe the siblings, brother and sisters. And the brother says, I am right, and the sister says, I am right too, right? It's on some matter, maybe on how we should take care of the parent. Maybe something has come up in parent's life, and the siblings are talking on what are the next step forward to take care of the parent, and there is a disagreement. Maybe the brother is being a bit rude, and maybe the sister also responded with rudeness. Now there is a conflict here. Their brother and sister, they're not coming into an agreement, and both of them are now holding a grudge against each other. If not for this sister, I could have taken such good care of the parents. She always interferes, and maybe the sister is getting very sad that I come up with great ideas, but this brother doesn't allow me to do what I'm supposed to do. Now, where is the wound? What is the wound? Is the wound this particular conflict, disagreement in words? Or is the wound the grudge that this brother is holding, the sadness that this sister is holding? Where is that wound? Thoughts. Similarly, another situation where I made a blunder at work. I created a report that had some erroneous numbers, and now that report has gone to maybe the vice president. And I'm like sitting and thinking, oh my gosh, what are they going to think about me? They're going to think I'm such a fool. Nobody's going to trust on me anymore. Now, where is the wound? I'm constantly now attacking myself. I'm feeling very low. I'm feeling as if I'm going to completely lose it. I'm going to lose the job. I'm going to lose everything. Nobody's going to give me a job anymore. I made a blunder. I'm good for nothing. Where is the wound? Now, there's another situation at work, maybe, where I am not getting promoted, even though I am very, very deserving. There's somebody else who's less deserving, who doesn't do much at work. They are the ones who's being, moved forward. The manager is very partial to them, or the team is very partial to them. They seem to be getting all the good projects, all the high visibility work. They are getting it, whereas I am always left behind. Even though I am capable, I am worthy, I'm hardworking, I'm sincere, yet I don't get the chance. Heart and mind, commentary in the mind, in mind. Sync, okay, thoughts. So this is exactly what we want to be fully aware of, right? That where exactly all of these, my way of looking at life, to life. Okay, very good. So this is exactly like whenever these situations come, am I, where is my time and energy going towards? Am I my full focus on body? Oh my gosh, how do I get rid of this pain in the body? How do I please the brother, or how do I get this sister to understand? How do I maybe take more classes so that I don't make these kind of mistakes? Maybe I need more reminders to be careful about numbers. Maybe I need to please my manager. Maybe I need to talk to my team. Maybe I need to be more extrovert. Maybe I need to be more of a people pleaser. Where is my attention? Many times we don't realize that every problem is actually being created within. We tend to put water on the leaves. We start taking care more of the relationships, body, work, finances, skills. So we try to put all our thoughts, energy, everything into the branches, and the roots get starved. They are actually getting filled with self-pity, with resentment, with guilt, with a grudge. So when the roots are sick, automatically every branch is automatically going to be sick. So no matter how much external comfort I surround myself with, that will not heal the inner wound. That is what majority of us are doing. We are trying to buy and more things, get more facilities, more luxuries around us, but nothing will give me that joy till I take care of the inner wound. So the question is to take care of the roots, but not really the branches, right? When the roots are nourished, automatically every leaf and every branch will nourish. Now, who is the one that is hurting? In all of these situations we talked about, who is hurting? Question for all of you. In those different kinds of situations we talked about in the previous slide, who is the one that is hurting? And feel free to raise your hand if you have any questions or if you want to share anything. Feel free to raise your hand and we will unmute you. I am the one who's hurting. This really needs to be very clear as to who is hurting and who is that I, own self, the actor, not my true self. Unnecessary thinking, soul. So in this situation, is it the body that is hurting? Is it the sister that is hurting? Is it the brother that is hurting? Is it the engineer that is hurting? Is it the doctor that is hurting? Is it the program manager that is hurting? Who is the one that is hurting? That is important to answer. So if I don't even know who is hurting, then how can I start the healing process, right? If I keep thinking, I, the sister, I'm so hurt by my brother, then all my methods to heal will focus on the brother. How can I move away from this brother? Or how can I please this brother? How can I get this brother to understand? How can I have a different kind of a brother? Right? All the thoughts are going in the direction of my identity. If the body is hurting, I, the body, how do I make it stronger? So I'll maybe think about eating something more better, maybe going to some more doctors, maybe doing more exercises. So the healing process will align with the person who is hurting. So very, very important to be very clear on who is the one hurting. So the doctor can perform a very accurate surgery. Suppose, uh, doctor, all this doctor does is surgery, right? And some other doctor, junior doctor, diagnoses that this person needs a liver surgery, some kind of issue with the liver. They need some liver surgery. And there is this surgeon who's an expert in operating the liver, removing whatever needs to be removed, and takes care of it. Right now, this patient, wrong patient, is sent to the surgeon. The surgeon goes ahead and performs the right surgery on the liver, says, "My job is done." Now, this person who actually didn't even need a liver surgery, who knows, might be now even more sick than what they were before because they were actually having stomach issues, but their liver got operated. It is exactly the same thing. We have been operating on things that actually are not the ones that are broken or wounded. So, very important to identify who is the patient. Otherwise, you can perform the most accurate surgery and you will only end up causing this person to be even more in a bad shape than they started with. So, for a surgeon, very important to get the right patient so that that surgery is right for them. Who's creating the wound and how? Question for all of you. Who is creating the wound and how is that wound getting created? Thyself. And how is that wound getting created? Through the thoughts. Yes. Mind, ego, myself from holding on to it. Yes. Wrong attitude. Yeah. Here again, right, we are taking the same situations to just understand these are different kinds of situations that come in life, right? In relationships, body, with maybe with friends and at work, different kinds of situations come. Is it the body that is creating the wound? Is it life that is creating that wound? Or is it the mind? Are people creating the wound? Is the brother giving the wound to the sister and sister giving the wound to the brother? Is it my name and title? Man, Meghna, the best, employee, got the best employee award. Is she the one that is creating the wound, or is it the mind? Is it managers and colleagues that are creating the wound, or the mind? Very, very important to have that clarity who is creating the wound. Because if it is somebody else that is creating the wound, what is my solution? Move away from that person, cut all ties with that person. Now, with the body, I can't cut ties, right? If I cut ties with the body, it basically means death of the body, and which some people do. They will destroy the body, which is called death, suicide. So, very important to understand that all of these wounds that are, see, the body, the sensations will always exist. Sickness, nobody can escape. Even if you're healthy, suddenly some accident could occur and your body could get injured. So there is nothing much you can do with the body except eat healthy, exercise. That's all is all in your control, which we should do. But it is the mind that is creating that commentary. And I, the being, is agreeing with those thoughts. Mind is creating many thoughts. Through those thoughts, the wounds are being created. Poor me. Why is my body like this? Why did I get this kind of a brother who's so mean to me, who's always so bossy? Why is my life like this? Why is my manager so partial? Why are the employees always taking advantage of me? These are the thoughts that are creating the wound. And the mind, when you start challenging and saying, I shouldn't be creating these kind of thoughts, I should think more positively, the mind creates more thoughts to justify that indeed in this kind of situation there is no way to create positive thought. When your brother is so outrageously mean, how can you create positive thoughts? When your body is all the time in pain, how can you create positive thoughts? The mind will give you this justification that it is impossible in such a situation. So, very important to remember that it is not me who's creating this wound, it is mind that is creating those thoughts, and I am agreeing with those thoughts. When the mind is saying there is no option but to be sad, I'm agreeing with it. Yes, indeed, my life is miserable because of this body, because of this sister, because of this manager, because of this employee. So, again, no matter what it is, I have to identify who is creating the wound and how, because that is when I can do the right surgery on that, stop that, right? If I say blame myself, then also it is wrong. Blaming that, Meghna, why did you create that thought? You shouldn't be creating that thought. Mind is a factory, and it has a logic on why it creates certain types of thoughts, and that's a whole different class. But in at a high level, thoughts are aligned based on your upbringing, based on your beliefs, based on your previous life, based on the influences that you have, whether it is through TV, social media, friends, relatives. There's books, there's so many things that influence your thoughts. So yes, what I can do is expose this mind to some good sources, like surround myself with more positive people, read more positive content, then indeed the thoughts in the mind will change. But not to personally take that ownership of, I created that thought, I am the bad one, I need to change, versus no, I need to get this mind to change. We need to have very fine clarity, fine level of clarity, subtle clarity. It's not just, big understanding overall at a very high level. No, at a very deep, granular, minute level, I need to understand these wounds. Otherwise, the steps we take towards healing don't work. So there is no blaming others, no blaming myself. We don't even blame this mind, who is sometimes very, very evil, right? It is okay. We need to work on the mind, which is using the thoughts to create the wounds. So options to heal are totally dependent on the answer to that questions, right? Who is hurting? If I don't answer that question correctly, I will start working in an incorrect direction. I might be reaching out to people, I might be reaching out to different situations, I might be reaching out to, you know, uh, to maybe a doctor, to be maybe a psychiatrist, to a therapist. Who knows all the different options that I might be reaching out to, without even understanding where the actual wound is, who created it, and how did it get created. So till I don't answer all the questions correctly, my healing methodology, my healing strategy will all fall apart. So we are coming towards the close of the class. I would like to see if anybody has any questions before we continue. Does anybody have any questions, any thoughts that you would like to share? All right, Mark. Yeah, please go ahead. You should be able to unmute yourself.
Namaste, sister.
Yeah.
And everyone. I wanted to say that today's class, I was able to bring it home to something concrete in my own life. We talked a lot, or you talked a lot about the pain from relationships, brother, sister, whatever, any kind of relationship. But in my own life, I have a problem with noise. I'm very sensitive to noise. And one of my neighbors has a fancy car that is loud, and he starts it up in the morning and he lets it idle, and he'll like rev it.
Oops, we lost you. Matt, we aren't able to hear you. Are you still talking?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there, we have you now.
Can you?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So, did you hear the part about? Okay. What I was saying was there's a trigger in my own life that's causing me pain. It has to do with one of my neighbor's cars. It's like a hot rod, and he starts it up in the morning, and it makes a lot of noise, and he revs it up, and he just lets it sit there, and it's really loud. And in the class, it's him and the car that's really making me upset.
Yeah, we're losing you again. Mark, maybe you want to say it in the chat then or Q&A. We lost you again. All right. Anybody else has a question or something that you'd like to share? It looks like we lost Mark. All right. Let's maybe go through one more slide before we call it class. We do have 5 more minutes. Um, so now for us to really ask this question, right? Can body or role heal permanently in this current world? The world that we are living in, where we are surrounded by a lot of issues, by a lot of changes, constant movement, chaotic world, right? Sudden changes that occur constantly around us. Can the body heal permanently? Can the role heal permanently? It's very, very important to have that clarity. What is it that I'm trying to heal? Because our mind constantly tries to push us towards healing that role of the wife, role of the mother, role of a person, right? A person who can hear, person who can feel. We are trying to heal that person, that human being. So here I'm just reading a question on the chat before I get onto the slide. How do you coexist with someone who hurts you and they have no self-awareness of their actions and don't think they're wrong even when you bring it up? This is there are quite a few people in this world. You can say that their spiritual well-being is at a lower level. Their consciousness is at a bit of a weaker level. That the awareness of them causing pain to others is not there, which basically means this. In Hindi, there's a nice word called mehsusta ki shakti, which basically means that power to realization is very weak in person who are spiritually weak. And such a person, they will not realize that their words, their actions, their behavior are inflicting pain onto others. There are multiple ways to get by it, right? But when till we are spiritually weak too, meaning we have not accumulated that power of real joy, real satisfaction that comes from the space of giving, then there is this emptiness inside of us, that weakness inside of us, because we've not felt that true joy. So then life's changes and atrocities disturb us. So it's very, very important to see how I can keep myself spiritually stronger, right? So when you work on yourself by giving joy to others through some charity, through being there for others, whatever method you can live from that space of giving, where you start getting blessings for others, then these kind of behaviors of people will not disturb you. And then when you have accumulated that wealth of joy, you will be actually able to see that this person who's trying to behave in a way that is causing hurt to you will actually, you will see that this person is actually hurting them, their own self. They don't have the power to hurt you at all. Right now, it feels like they are hurting you because you are spiritually very weak. You're already feeling that sadness and you're feeling that somebody else is giving you more sadness. But someone who gives pain, who gives sadness, they're automatically the one who are suffering already. You can't give pain, you can't give hurt, you can't give sadness unless you are filled with it. So this person who's giving it is actually full of such kind of toxins inside of them, which means they are actually the ones who are suffering more than you. But we can't see that they are sufferers till I am the one who's already suffering, right? So that's why the solution here is not really to figure out how do I deal with this one individual. It is to figure out why am I so low inside of me, right? How do I figure out that ways to remain joyful? That is the most important effort to make. Once you learn the art of sharing joy with others, with everyone, and even with this person who's trying to hurt you in meditation, when you start giving them that joy and start seeing them in that light of how they are a victim, how they are full of pain, trying to pass on that pain, then it will not bother you. I'm reading the next comment here. I feel like I'm usually pretty resilient to tough situations, example, relating to sickness, jobs, etc. But when it comes to relationships, I feel very vulnerable and get hurt very deeply. There is self doubt, anxiety, panic, and I'm unable to break that cycle. What am I doing wrong? Each one of us has different aspect where we are slightly weaker. This is again a sign of spiritual weakness, where there is some part of me which is dependent on something that is outside of me, right? So till we don't understand who we are and that nothing from outside can actually touch me, we won't be able to heal. So, when in relationships, typically we have expectations, right? And we might say, okay, I don't expect anything great from them. I don't expect them to help me. I don't expect them to praise me. But at least they should not be, critical about me. At least they should not be insulting about me, which is still an expectation. Letting people be the way they are and understanding if someone is inflicting pain, they are fully in pain. So, how do I remain okay and continue to give to them? Right. And this really comes when you, first of all, understand that you yourself are a being of love, being of joy, and you are really a direct heir to that supreme who's the ocean of peace, ocean of love, and ocean of joy. So when you are able to maintain a link to who you are and the link to the supreme source, then nobody outside can touch you. Again and again, if you identify yourself as that role, whether it is the role of the wife, role of the mother, role of the sister, role of the daughter, whatever role you're identifying with, if that is what you do, then yes, these other roles will disturb you. But when you see yourself as an actor, these are just roles. Roles can never be perfect. Roles will always have ups and downs, which is sorrow and joy. In roles, situations of sorrow and joy will come. When I, the actor inside, stays in that space of joy, yes, the mind will create the sorrow, but I anchor to my true nature of joy and I watch that sorrow that the mind is creating. My own relative is doing this. That's what the mind will talk, right? My own relative is doing that. I've always been nice to this relative. This is the mind talks as if it is you that is talking, whereas the soul never talks. Soul is a being of silence. But when it has to play this movie, this drama, then the mind is the one that is talking. The entire script of this world drama is in the mind. So when I remember that I, the silent being, a being who's ever joyful, is watching this mind, then you can detach. But otherwise, if you think I am the one that is creating those thoughts, and you will when you think of yourself as either the wife or the daughter or the neighbor, whatever you think of yourself, if you don't come back to that I, the soul, is silent, who has no script, no thoughts, you need to come back to that again and again. Soul's nature is forever bliss. From that space of bliss, I watch the mind who's wearing that costume of I, the sister. I'm very hurt because of what my brother did to me. It is talking, the mind is talking. The moment you say, no, I'm not the sister, I'm not the neighbor, I'm not this body, I'm not the wife, I am an actor who's silent. The moment you remain in love, in peace, your inner space, that mind will pop up a right thought to solve this situation in the role. Now, it doesn't mean I become silent, I don't do anything about this person, I don't take any step forward and just remain silent. No. When you remain silent and watch the mind's script will change. Based on your story, that mind will throw the right thought to create the right next step forward, the solution, right? So that is the trick, to remain anchored to your silent, blissful state and see how the story starts changing. And we will talk a lot about this in the upcoming classes on how to deal with this different kind of situations, different kinds of conflicts and hurts that we get from different places, right? We will talk about that. So we are all out of time, but let's have a 1 minute of silence in meditation. Dear mind, I'm observing you. I, the master, is your parent, is your mentor, and I understand that I did not take good care of you. I did not teach you what to think and what not to think. Maybe I exposed you to content that is causing you to create such disturbing thoughts that are resulting in wounds. But now I promise to take care of you, dear mind. I, your master, is ever silent, ever blissful, ever healed. And I know that you will support me by creating thoughts that align with my truth. You will create thoughts that are uplifting, transformative, powerful. I'm a pure being, master of my mind and body. I am healed. The mind and body will follow. Thank you all for joining us today. Hope you have a wonderful week ahead. We'll see you again next week at the same time. Take care, everyone.